What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. Today, we are going to have a guest join, but I started a little bit early because I am officially cool. Yes, I've worked my whole life. I've been trying to be cool for a while now. It's been a tough road, Wasn't cool in high school, wasn't cool in college. I was on TikTok. I wasn't cool there, but I'm officially cool because the coolest guy on YouTube knows who I am. The King of Kings, Joe Rogan, reacted to one of my clips. So we're going to react to Joe Rogan, reacting to yours truly, me. How crazy is this? All right, let me go.
Are women. And it got super performative. And here, I'll send it to you, Jamie.
I want to do this on my podcast.
It got super performative, and it was like, trans women are women. Like, that's not an argument. Like, what you're saying, this lady has a point about showers and locker rooms and competing in sports. And this is to deny that this is a point. Here, play this.
Trans women be included in feminist conversations. How about in women's spaces?
Yes, they're women.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Pearl,
Trans women are women.
So I want to come at this from the position
Or
of an
perverts.
athlete.
Oh, Jesus.
So I play semi-pro basketball, semi-pro volleyball. So when it comes to like athletic spaces, I don't think that trans women should be allowed into athletic spaces because I don't think it's a fair. I think as female athletes, we work so incredibly hard for the little opportunity there is in women's sports.
Would this be a barrier for you?
There's no barrier. There's less opportunity in some industries.
That's what
one
a
of them.
barrier is.
There's less. It's not. No. It's
That's
based
what
on the
friction
market.
means.
Okay. Yeah, what I was trying to say there, I'm going to input my opinion now. What I was trying to say is there's less opportunity because we suck. We're not as good as men at basketball and volleyball. We're not as entertaining. So they just kept interrupting me. They just kept. So yeah, honestly, that look served that day. That's when I was young. I didn't have to wear makeup then. I got to put on eyeshadow and eyeliner now. It's like.
Okay,
Hold on, guys.
Okay, so again, we work very hard for the little opportunity that we're given, and the problem is we can't compete. We can't. I'm 6 foot. If I go up against a 6 foot guy and I play basketball with him, he's going to body me.
And what happens if I go up against you?
Even if I have years more of training. And so it's like you're taking away the little opportunity that we're given and we all work so hard for. It will be the end of women's sports.
I have changed my opinion officially. I do want to make that public. I think that men should be allowed in women's sports because women keep voting for it. What changed my mind was after this interview, I went to a tournament where we had men in our locker rooms. I never thought it would happen to me, and then it happened to me. And I went around and I said, "Hey, do you guys have a problem with this?" And all the women were for it. So I'm like, F it. If we keep voting for this, we're just cooked. We're cooked.
Tried confidence?
Eli.
Have you tried confidence?
Sorry, confidence can't make me bench what a guy benches.
I don't
Confidence can't
understand
make
why
me
you guys
6'7".
are so hostile. She's sharing her
And confidence
experience
can't make
in
me
a
6'7".
specific
No, she's
field.
sharing. And I'd have to go.
No, she's not. She's a woman who's had an experience.
Okay, kill it. Kill it. The woman.
That's what I was trying to say. It's always the unathletic people. It's always the unathletic people talking about how they would do sports. It's like, you're not athletic. You're not athletic. But if a guy trains for a few weeks, he's going to I won't be able to catch up.
I watched that a long time ago.
Dressed like a man with short hair, said she's trans
That's not
misogyny.
that's a trans man, by the way.
Oh, it's a man?
Yeah, that's a man who's now a woman. Yes.
See, that I don't have a problem with. Try that. You could go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me at all.
No.
Like if trans men want to invade men's spaces and pee next to us with a funnel, go for it. I do not care at all. You know why? Because you can't rape me.
No.
right? That's
right.
the real problem with trans men, is that men are creeps.
Especially in female prisons and
Yes.
stuff. Yes.
Female prisons is a huge one. But it's also just female locker rooms. So like some guy with his dick hanging out is pretending he's a woman. That's real too. There's trans women, and then there's perverts who enter into these spaces. This is you've given them a Willy Wonka golden ticket.
It's like pedophiles who found a safe haven when they could put on the robes of a priest.
And the crazy thing is, like, a lot of these things, like that one in L.A. with that the health club that was they got protested because they kicked a trans woman out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Multiple time sex offender.
Yeah.
Multiple time
That's
sex
crazy.
offender.
What? That happens
Yeah.
sometimes? Yeah.
So someone who's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
Who decides, oh, I'm a woman now, and I'm just gonna let my dick shine. I'll just polish it up in front of these ladies.
Right.
So you could just oil up your dick in front of, some people.
I think I'm officially cool. They reacted to me. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Wait, let me see the rest.
Just trying to get to yoga class.
I think that conversation's been won.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
Not totally. Look at those ladies.
That's
trans women.
That's a while ago. That was
Trans
actually 5
women?
years ago.
I don't know. Last time I was in England, they were. It was getting worse, but I don't know. It could have changed. I haven't played semi-pro in a few years now. You really kind of got to let that die at some point. I know I made it. Okay. All right. So I wanted to have a new series on the show, and it's basically called "Hear Me Out," where I'm going to hear out, or vice versa. We're going to hear each other out with someone with a very different worldview. What? Why am I glitching? Am I glitching for you guys? Okay. Someone. I don't know what caused this. Well, if I have to go cameraless, I'll go cameraless. Someone with a very different worldview than me. So we have the TikToker coming on my show. Her name's Ashley Ann. We reached out. I think she reached out to me, or I don't remember. Maybe I messaged her. And we're going to have a conversation about some topics that we disagree on. Can you guys see the glitching? Can you guys see the glitching in the chat? You can? I'm going to refresh myself, maybe. I'm going to try that before I bring her up. You think it's the camera? I don't think it's the camera. Oh, I'm back. Oh, that's better. I think I just had to refresh the page. Maybe it's StreamYards. What up, Ashley?
Hello.
How are you?
Good. You can just call me Ash.
Ash? Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
I'm going to do a little editing here real quick. You know what? I'm just going to actually keep it just like that. I think everybody can see me good. Okay, great.
Cool. So I'd love to hear a little bit about you before we talk.
Oh, man.
Topics.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I just want to get to know you, Ashley.
Sure,
So what made you talk about this stuff? How did you start, doing stuff on TikTok? Give me your backstory.
Yeah, sure. So, I don't know really when I got into TikTok, really just sort of, watching and, kind of the way everybody did, I think through COVID and all of that or whatnot. But I think, I really found myself debating abortion a lot. But I sort of left just the realm of abortion and went more into feminism and have found myself here. I enjoy discourse. I like talking. I like hearing other people's ideas. But I am rooted in facts and statistics. So I guess we'll see where this will go. I think, we decided on topics, right?
Yeah, we did. We'll go through it in a second. So when did you become a feminist? Is it a new thing, or have you always been a feminist?
I think I've always been a feminist. I think we all struggle through our own internalized misogyny and growth, but I think as we get older with more experience, we understand feminism and life more. And I think that as we grow, or at least in my experience with feminism, my own experiences, like experiencing the world, being a mother, in relationships, working in male-dominated fields, all of these things just really, solidified that I believe in gender equity and gender equality. And on that flip side too, the patriarchy is bad for men as well.
Okay, so What male-dominated fields did you work in? I'm curious.
I worked in like hotel, restaurant, bar industry.
Oh, is that male-dominated? I thought it was 50-50 last I checked.
When you look at like owners and like bar managers, like a lot, like women are used and they play roles more in like the sex that sells. And then in like managerial positions, or like who, you know, washes the girls, et cetera, things like that. But as far as decision making goes, I was typically always the only woman on staff.
Okay, so you said you get a lot of your opinions from facts and data.
Well,
So
yeah.
I'm curious because I always hear when people say that, and there's nothing wrong with it per se. In fact, it's a very big conservative talking point. What do you believe if you read a study and it conflicts with what you see in real life?
Well, can you give me an example?
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, so you think that men are like there's a big pay gap, right? But everyone around you, you see women getting paid more. But there's a study that says like men are paid more.
Yeah,
Or let's say like violence. You know, there's studies that come out that say women are more violent. But then, something that conflicts with your worldview. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Or
well,
like
yeah.
something
So
that says, like the baby like feels pain, or the baby. Does that make sense? So like,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at that at more. So if you gave me an example, right? So sorry, I'm actually fixing something on my so you mentioned like the wage gap, right? Or so if men are making more, right? How would I like, so as an example, men in nursing, right, a feminized field, are going to make more on average than women. And so often when I have this discussion, that's something that men don't want to believe, or people would go like, that doesn't make sense to them, right? And so I would just look at that data, and I don't think if it conflicts with my worldview, then I need to change my worldview.
Okay, so you're going to go with the data before your eyes. So like let's say I brought up like a study that said women were 90% of plumbers. And you worked like, and every time you've hired a plumber, it's been a man. Would you believe the data first?
Well, the data that there's more men plumbers, or that men, or about their wages.
No, I'm giving you examples. So I'm saying if you see something in real life, like your real day-to-day life.
I can't see what everybody makes in an industry. So when I look at the data, I can take the data from like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, right? And I know on average, right, how, like, even in these feminized fields, we can look at like community service and things that are feminized. There are more women in these fields, but men still get paid higher. So when I look at that, right, same with plumbers. It is a fact that there are more plumbers.
Okay. I'm not trying to go back and forth about the data or the specific examples. My only question is, if something conflicts with your worldview and your life experience has shown you different, are you going to believe the data or the life experience?
I'm probably going to look at the data.
The data would be first.
First, yeah.
Yeah. I would look at my life experience first, personally.
Yeah, that doesn't make
the reason, and I think it's perfectly okay that other people have a different opinion on this. But the reason being is that I think there is a lot of deception in the way people show numbers at times, and you don't know who's funding stuff. So when I come to a conclusion about the world, at times in my job, I have to use data, right? You do debates, you do that kind of thing. But, when something, it has to match what I see in the real world. Does that make sense?
Well, that's just factually incorrect, because I've never seen $1 million, but $1 million exists.
I would not say that's the same thing, but you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, I don't know how one person with a very small view of a larger picture could make the deduction that it's the same for everybody based on their experience. My experience, I'm extremely privileged. I have both my parents. I had a great birth experience. All of these things, right? But that's not true.
So there are things that I would
You know.
agree on that are there are things that I would say are out of my scope, right? There
Okay.
there are things where I have not had enough experience in that topic where I could come to a conclusion on. Does that make sense? So
Sure, but
I don't claim to speak for everything. So
well,
I
sure.
don't- I
Well, let
don't
me
have
give
that-
you sure. I mean, it's. Let me give you an example. And so that would be like an anecdotal fallacy, right? So I work in maternal and birth health, right? So when I look at the data, I know that the experience and the numbers are going to change, right? So Black women, their experience and the data and the outcomes are going to be different than mine. As I worked in the industry and my eyes only saw 90% white women and maybe 10% Black women in this industry, and those Black women got a great experience with us as well, right? So
Okay.
inside of that view of what I know, we supply better care, or women are getting better care overall. But if we look at the data, that's not true, right? Our maternal health our maternal health statistics are far worse than the view that I've gotten from my firsthand view.
And so you would pick because don't you think that could make you easily manipulated? Because then anybody
To
could
look at data and numbers? No.
Yeah, because then anybody could throw a study or numbers in front of you, and if you
But
blindly believe it, if you blindly believe it over what you see in real life with your eyes, I think that makes you easily manipulated.
I think that's the reverse. I think that trusting things with your own eyes without having like grounded factual data is actually how you'll be manipulated. And I think I've avoided being manipulated by choosing to look at the data. And I've been able to have a view that 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 includes everybody. That's just a very biased way of looking.
I have a question. I'm just going to throw a stat out for you. So if I said that married men live longer and are happier, would you believe that? Like, let's say it's a good source. We're in good faith. I'm not lying.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, sure. I also know that there's truth to that. But when you say like married men, there's going to be like married men in comparison to who, and then inside of married men, there's going to be
single men in comparison to men that don't get married. Single men.
Yes, I know that they are. They live longer.
So the one way conservatives really like to push marriage because they want their religion to be right. Right. So there's an ego investment where they're trying to sell. They want more people in the congregation.
I think we might agree on this, though.
No, wait. So let me finish.
Okay.
So, the way they manipulate that stat is they include men that are disqualified from marriage because, in general, women would not marry men that are extreme alcoholics, that are, that they have a life choice. That they're not really in the marriage.
I don't know that that's true. Do you have a statistic that says that like men with like alcohol or drug problems like don't get married as much? Or
see, again, I think that would just be anecdotal. I don't think crack addicts are really the number one draft pick for women. That's what I mean. I don't need wait, you got to not interrupt me. I'm trying to
but there's women crack addicts.
You got to not interrupt. I'm going to give you a warning now. Okay. So all right.
Warning.
So
forgot my pearls though.
The challenge you get is if I need a study to think, I don't need a study to think. I could think through what I've seen in real life. So
I do.
That's fine. If you need a study to have any opinion, it's totally fine. But it's just a difference in worldview. I think that would make you easily manipulated. You would probably think it makes me easily manipulated, which is fine. We can disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, if we're looking at, right, like, I mean, if I say 1 + 1 = 3, and that's my worldview, and you're like, well, I actually have data to say that 1 + 1 is 2, and I'm like, yeah, but over here, 1 + 1 is 3, right? You're right, I'm wrong, but my worldview.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I do think that's, what if the person's lying, right? What if the person's just making stuff up to be a victim? What if, and I'm not saying me, but just in general, that's the challenge you get with anecdotes. I understand the discrepancy, but I think over time you just start to see who tends to make stuff up and who doesn't. And then that's something you got to make a judgment on as a person. So.
Well, I don't really make judgments on data. I think there's good sources. I think there's reliable and non-biased sources, and that's where I try to stay, right? Because numbers don't lie. When we look at things like maternal mortality, right? Like, you can't lie on who died, right? Like, they're dead, right? So, and then when we suss that data out, like, nobody's lying. I would agree with you.
Could you say that again? Wait, I just don't know what that is. What mortality? Say that one more time.
The maternal, like, women who die during pregnancy, birth, and I believe it includes 40 days after birth as well in the postpartum period.
I do agree that some data is better than others.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not saying you don't take data, right? I'm not saying that you never look at it, you never consider it. All I'm saying is, for me personally, if you give me a study and it says something that conflicts everything I've seen in real life, you can't shame me into believing it. A lot of women that
I wouldn't want to shame you.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying this is common. Is, they insinuate you're dumb, they insinuate you're lying or whatever. But it's like, you can't shame me into not seeing what I've seen in real life. And I personally would think that you're easily manipulated if someone can just shove a piece of paper in your face and you believe it.
Right. Well, I wouldn't believe anything that anybody shoved in my face, right? Like, I would look at data and I would compare it with other data and I would compare it with other sources as well, right? So when we read, if somebody were to send me a vlog or a blog post, if it's an opinion piece and if they say something, I'm going to want to know where that data came from, right? And so that's when we get in to, like, primary, secondary, and tertiary.
But the challenge you get in, because I've done a lot of these debates, and it always turns into this: the liberals believe their data and the conservatives believe their data. We get nowhere. And that's kind of what.
Can you give me an example of like conflicting data and then tell me about conservative?
I would say conservatives like the Institute for Family Studies, I think it is. They like that source, where liberals tend to not like it.
And why is that? I don't
because I think it's got like a religious backing.
Well, yeah. So
and the conservatives are not going to like the sources that come from the schools, right? Because the schools have more of like a left-leaning bias. You guys might disagree, but that's how we see it.
Well, I think that to be honest, I think you're confusing left-leaning sources just with, like, educated, non-biased sources. And a religious institute would be biased for their agenda, kind of like you're talking about with marriage. But I believe, like, if we're going to look at data, I think that education, I don't think that's, to be honest, maybe you're right. Like, maybe education is left-leaning at this point. That might just be actually factual, that right-leaning people have completely abandoned, like, intellectual conversation and debate because they want to go on their feelings rather than facts. And so it's interesting to me that the topic of choosing to use data or not is the topic. I will not engage that way. My feelings don't matter.
So again, I noticed you said educated, non-biased sources. And to me, the way I would interpret that is I get to determine what's a good source and a bad source. And it just becomes a back and forth between.
No, I think things like peer-reviewed and double-blind studies, randomized studies, I think things like those are what would make them more right. Because if the people don't know they're in it, and if we're looking at raw data, and if we have sample size after sample size after sample size after sample size that is saying the same thing, I think that if I still chose to believe my own worldview, I think that I would be doing a disservice to myself.
Let me give you an example.
Okay.
So neither of us are this person, but I'm just going to give you an example.
Okay.
If you're a cop and every day you're arresting Black people, every single day you're getting stabbed by them, you're shot by that, whatever.
Well, wait, you said arrested or getting assaulted by them? There's two different things that you just said. So arresting.
Okay. Look, I don't need you to explain it to me.
Well, I think
just need you to
no.
go.
I just want a clear question.
Okay. So if you're a cop and this is
Mhm.
your experience, and
If
then
I'm a cop.
they throw a data set in your face.
Mhm.
If I was the cop, I would go with my experience because, you know, if you've worked in the field 20 years, I think
Wait,
you're
I
gonna,
don't know what the
I think,
scenario you're giving me
you're gonna
is.
know.
Hold on. I don't know what scenario you're giving me is. So you're saying that I'm a cop and my experience is that I arrest more black people than white people.
Yeah. And the
And
data,
then
and then let's say a study comes out and it says you arrest more white people commit crimes. And you're like, that is not true.
well,
And
yeah.
I'm not trying to argue about that, by the way. We don't have to
Well,
go
no,
back.
I would just,
giving you
yeah, I mean, I would just say that, oh, wow, interesting. Like, I wonder why that is, right? So then I might look at like the rest of the data of like the people on my force, right? And if I find out that I'm the only person arresting black people at the same rate and everybody else on my force is arresting people at the rate that data tells me the crime is committed, I would say, like, if I didn't want to be a racist, I'd be like, oh, wow, I should probably look at why I'm arresting more black people.
Wow. Yeah, that I would just say that study is full of shit. That's me personally. So I understand where you're coming from. I do get it, but it's just a difference in how we perceive information.
Right.
So
I mean, maybe that cop is just better at finding black criminals, I guess. That's probably what he would say, right? It's just he's just better at it than.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. It's just a difference in worldview, which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we can actually get into the. I just wanted to clarify that before we started. So
okay.
All right. So one of the topics I think you suggested was traditional gender roles benefit men more than women. I'll hear you out. Give me the case.
Okay, sure. Okay. Do you want to? So the reason I had asked you this, all these topics actually kind of blend together, to be honest. I did suss them out the way we talked about them, but they do kind of blend together. And just so everybody else knows, we talked about this topic and sexism still shaping pink collar and blue collar jobs. And I can't remember the other one. What was the other one?
It's women don't have it easier than men.
Oh, yeah. Which I think they all tie together, to be honest. But
that's why I picked it. We could do this another day and go through the other ones. But
You're fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, I think men gain more economic and social advantages from the gender roles than women. I'm going to say that that's going to be in wages and earnings. It's going to tie into the history that men have sort of had the norm of being the breadwinner and have had access to gain economic value far longer than women have. So that's like starting a race, X amount of steps ahead. When we talk about like unpaid labor, done whether you are a stay-at-home parent or you work, women typically are going to pick up more of the slack of that around the house and things like that. And I've got data that I can go through this. I've just got some stuff that I wrote down here as well.
Say the last one more time. Unpaid labor. So women do more chores, essentially.
Well, yeah. When we talk about outside of the workday. So even women who work like a 9 to 5, and then when they compare household labor, I think women do on average between like 37 and 51% more than men.
How many hours a day are they doing chores? I mean, there's like, there's air fryers now. It's not that hard to cook and clean.
Yeah, well, I think that right there too, right? I mean, people who have children, right? Like I just literally went through a crisis for 45 minutes prior. My dad's fishing. Me and my mother, are wrangling, my child. That just typically like falls on the mother, and men benefit from that, right? My dad's benefiting from anecdotal, I know, right? I'm
okay with anecdotal. You can give it to me.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying,
tell me. So what's the specific thing that like was super, time consuming with the kid? Because to me,
I don't want to talk about my personal I'm just saying but here, let me.
I mean, we could just give an example. So because we're having one kid, maybe two now, not 10. My grandma had 13 kids. So I could see how that would be time consuming, but we're not, You know, I'm like, how many hours a day are we like cooking, you know, and cleaning?
Yeah, I mean, kids don't make kids do. You don't have children, right?
No
By
kids.
the way, Pearl, I have to say that for an anti-feminist, you sure would rock a feminist life. I mean, college, educated, no
I know.
kids, you're not married yet. Like right now,
know.
you're in your prime. Like you got your
know.
bag, you've got your thing. Like I wish I had rocked the feminist lifestyle like you did. You know.
Are you jealous?
Like honestly, yeah. Like I didn't have to wrangle my kid tonight before this, right? Like I mean, honestly, like you know. So I think that you know, getting pregnant young and holding that stance is
a house is 1,500 square feet. So that's square foot of the house.
Mine's a little bit bigger than that, but
I live in.
Well, here I pulled up the answer to your question. So
like how many? So because in the study, how many? I want to know how many hours a day are the women doing this unpaid labor?
It like I said, so the 37% increase is gonna it talks about so 5.2 hours on average for men, 8.8 for women. This is
a day.
This is a day. This is a day. Let me pull up the chart here.
It seem really inefficient.
Well, no, because
OMG.
If you have a child,
I do have to read. These may roast you at times. I want you to know it's not personal, but I will read that. You're welcome if they super chat you on TikTok and they roast me. It's totally fine.
They are.
OMG, it's fine. Is she really complaining about life skills every man can do?
They can. They just don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree that men can do these things. They just don't.
Okay. So you're saying so men gain more economic and social gender roles from women. They make more money. How do you know they don't make more money to appease women's spending habits because women spend more than men?
When you say women spend more, where are you getting that information from?
Well, the first line of eyesight would be my eyes. I do have eyes and I see how women move in the world. Women do make 80% of consumer buying decisions. I think it's like 150,000.
Well, yeah, they're doing the shopping for that. That's part of that unpaid labor that they're doing, right? So they are managing the household, managing the bills, right? So when you say women are doing it, like
you got to stop interrupting me. Okay. Yeah, you got to let me finish. Okay, so the first way I would have this opinion is my eyes. So I have seen the difference between men and women's spending habits. I noticed this in college. Women would go out to eat. Men would be more likely to eat in the cafeteria. I noticed this post-college where women would invest in, especially white women. We love Botox. You know what I mean? we love Botox. We love shopping. You know, I don't really witness a lot of women cooking, to be honest. Maybe that's what the study is saying, but that's just not what I've noticed. I know you gotta let me finish.
Okay, sorry. I don't
want to mute you. I don't want to mute you, but I will. So, see, this is why I can't be interrupted. I'll be on a roll, you know. So anyways, it first starts in college where I just notice a different, you know, women go out shopping. That's like a hobby for us. That's a hobby. It's not a hobby for men. Then on top of that, there is evidence that supports this. It's also, if I go around in the city, I just see all the stuff that like is marketed to women, you know, restaurants, Botox, fake nails, fake hair. Doug MPA. Oh yeah. Then there's, hold on. Look, hold on 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to take you down for 1 second. 1 second. I can't read and listen. So I'm trying to have a conversation with her. You gotta let me go. Thank you. I can't. Yeah. Please don't do that. You can put it. It's just, you know. Okay. Thank you. We're back. So yeah, so you have I witness women traveling. You see this on Instagram. Student debt. Women own the majority of. So I would attribute, and my eyes, I grew up with a mother and a father. My mother spent far more than my father, relatives. The women always spend more than the men. So yeah, go ahead. You're welcome to rebuttal now.
Okay. Can you show me some data to back that up, please?
What? Mm-hmm. In their lifetime than men. If I do show you data that backs that up, will you believe it or think I'm lying?
No, I believe data, but then I'm going to want to look at why. I already know the answer to this. I'm just wondering if you have it.
Women spend why it costs $300,000 more to be a woman than a man.
Right? Yeah. What is that, like a Cosmo blog or what?
Yeah. See, I don't like this where you're going in bad faith. I try to have a nice conversation with you.
Okay. Where's the data from? Where's it from?
I mean, this is always where it goes. It's I don't believe Pearl. I think she's lying, which is fine.
I just show me the data then. Listen.
All right. There we go. I try with these women. I'll try another feminist next week. I'll try another one next week. Well, because and a lot of people come at me. I think we'll just react to something else. They say, Pearl, why don't you just go back and forth? Because it's going to be that the whole way. Source. And I'm exhausted. I just want somebody to come in. I just want someone to come in good faith. I just thought we could try. I know she was in bad faith. I know I have woman fatigue. I don't know how you guys live like this. Women are 80% of consumer spending. Is she crazy? Yeah, because you know what I mean? It would just take me 10 minutes. I could go through this. I'm going to do an essay video on this. What should I react to? Can do Pierce Morgan. I wonder if Pierce Morgan has had any good clips. Does Trump win the Nobel Peace? I think I had a face. No, this is all too much. Spotify banned Nick F. Yeah, because I let her know beforehand, if you're just going to question me every step of the way, I'm not going to do it, And it's the interesting thing about women is they go onto your show and then they can't play by your rules. It's like, I demand we do things my way. I'm like, well, no. Disgusting 304 admits heinous crime. I think this will be my next essay video. I'll make one for her. I really will. I'll make an essay video with all my sources. I really will. I'll put them all in the comments. But what I'm not going to do, we can't have a real conversation about what we've seen in life if it's just going to go back and forth. All right, here we go.
What about you?
Hi, I'm Ophelia Purr. I'm a professional star in an online slut. I am 20 years old, and I moved to LA about 4 years ago to be a greater slut. So
Wait, you're how old again? Sorry.
20.
You're 20?
Yeah.
You moved to LA at 16 to be a slut?
Well, fake ID. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I got a fake ID at 16.
What did you use the fake ID for?
Because you can't do porn until you're 18. So I had a friend and we both got fake IDs, and then we got into porn and it kind of just went from there. So like there's definitely an underage footprint of me somewhere that the daddies are taking off too.
That's actually not funny at all. It's
But
disgusting.
I kind of love it.
Hold on. You're 20?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
Maybe that makes sense.
It's kind of crazy how women, we commit crimes and we like laugh at them. We're like, tee-hee, tee-hee. By the way, if there is a feminist that can have a normal conversation, like, I just think feminists lack like basic social skills. Now it'd be one thing if I came into this habit saying, debate me. But I never do that. I say, let's have a normal conversation. They just don't know how to do it. I don't think they know. It's like, they're like, what's good faith? I'm like, not assuming I'm a bad person, just off the jump. Giving someone the benefit of the same benefit of the doubt that I gave you. You know, I don't come in and every source you say, I say, you're lying. I would do that if I thought they were a bad person, you know? And a lot of the women, they say, you know, you're running away from the conversation. But I'm like, we can't even have a conversation if the whole way you're just trying to discredit me. We can't. We could do a debate, hypothetically, but it's just, you know, and I'm not trying to be rude. You know, she came at me personal first. You know, she's a single mom living at her parents' house. You know, am I really gonna, come on, like, let's just be real. Am I really, you know, she's not going to tell me anything, nor is she going to tell me how to run my show. Unfortunately, I know they're taking it as a huge W. They could. That's fine. You know, it's like these people that have no social skills. They're just not very nice people in the world, you know, and you can tell because they don't know how to have a normal conversation. They come in and they just immediately, you're lying. They talk over you. You give them so many warnings. You're like, don't talk over, don't interrupt me. And I'm not a yeller. Do you know what I mean? It's not my personality. It's not who I am as a person. I'm really not a mean person. I hate that as a person, in order to have like these are adult women. And in order to have like adult conversations, I have to start talking like this. Don't talk over. I hate talking like that. I hate that I have to, don't stop. Like, because they don't listen. It's like, if I say, all right, stop, I have to treat them with it's too frustrating. You see why they're single moms. I'm being honest. I'm like, I can see they can never like function in society. It's their life choices. You know, and I understand everyone wants a bloodbath, right? They want me to go back and forth. They want me to debate. I get it. I understand the want. That's good internet material. It would probably make a lot more money. But I don't like arguing with people. I am not shocking to the internet. I'm not a combative person. You know, I genuinely go into things in good faith. I'm not going to hold your life circumstances against you. I'm not going to bully. You know, I'm not going to do those things. But these women, they come in every time you say, show me your source, and it's just like, okay, we're not going to have a real conversation. And then they gaslight. The interesting thing is they gaslight. You see these women, they gaslight because they say, oh, it was bad faith from you. I'm like, well, you know, she was in number one, you know, she says she doesn't want to talk about her personal life while trying to attack mine, which, by the way, I don't put all of it on the internet. You know, they want privacy, which is fine. I respect it. They have no regard or respect for yours, you know, which is fine. You know, I'm not, but it's just, I'm not a combative person. I'm really not. And I do have the right on this show. I do have the right to make the rules for it. And you're totally welcome to make your own show, but nobody would watch it. That's the problem. Nobody would watch it. You couldn't do what I did because of your lack of social skills. I swear to God, you know, you couldn't do what I did. You couldn't. It would be impossible. It's why, you know, it's why you guys are all struggle streaming. You know, it's why you got 500 followers on Insta. You know, you could ask me for advice, you know. I'm just saying. It's like this is what they do. They demand. They say, come on the show. And I say, okay, can you have a normal conversation, honey? Can you do it? And they're like, yeah, I can do it. And then you give them a warning. You're like, okay, you got to be nice. That's all I ask. You just have to be polite and nice. You know, and the liberals, what they do is they come in and okay, because imagine if I say women spend more than men. Well, what's your source? Now I got to explain my source for 10 minutes. Why don't you just listen to what I have to say? And then if you disagree later, you can look it up yourself. You know, you can go through it. But we can at a later time give you a list, whatever. And I'm going to actually make a series going through my source. This is coming. This is, you know, you have to understand, I have a lot of moving pieces. I'm trying to raise money for a document. I'm doing all these things that sometimes, yeah, if people asking for citations for any small claim, like women have consumer power, it's not good. I know. And I try to explain this to people that aren't in debate, but they don't get it, you know, then they'll never get it, you know. And the women, they'll come in, and I'm sure these, you know, they come in, but they usually, it's just they gaslight. They're like, no, you're in bad faith. I'm like, really? I think I was pretty nice. You know, hey, I believe my eyes. And the way liberals want to manipulate you is they want to be in charge. Like, women are so controlling. They want to control how you perceive the world. So they want the ability to control what sources are allowed. They want the ability to they want to be able to discredit you. Yeah. The crazy thing is, even when they Google, they don't realize that personalized Google shows them what they want to see in niche studies. I know. So, you know, again, I would like to do a reoccurring series from a feminist. I really would. This is an open offer. You can DM me. But I got some rules for you. You cannot ask me source every 5 minutes. I understand if we were debating, that could be a thing. We're not. This is a conversation. Conversations. I don't converse with people without going into things in good faith. Good faith. Sincerity of intention. Good faith is a broad term that's used to encompass honest dealings. Depending on the exact setting, good faith. Yeah, you can't ask me for definitions every 5 minutes either. That's a debate tactic. Every 5 minutes, I cannot have definitions. Yeah, it implies I'm lying. And I'm like, if you think I'm lying, why are you here? You're just here to try to, you know. It's like I beg them, please just have a normal conversation. I try with these women. I really do. I try. Yeah, so again, this is open. I'll make a list of rules, but you can't ask me stat every 5 minutes. You can't, ask me to define words every 5 minutes. You can't insult me, I get it. I could be a better person, but I won't insult you personally if you don't insult me personally. Yeah, and you have to have a good spirit about you. I don't mind a definition here and there. You know what? But it's every 5 minutes. There's certain liberals that they debate you and they're like, definition, and you're just like, okay, I'm moving on. I'm moving on with my life. Yeah, it's a spirit thing. It's a spirit thing. But the thing is, women go through the world and they're never told how insufferable they are because they're pretty when they're young. They're pretty. But unfortunately, our life choices will just keep. See, this is a person that's in bad faith. So what's the delineation between what's too many or not too many? It's like these nerds with no conversation skills. They have none. They don't know how to have a nice conversation with somebody. They're like, okay, well, how many definitions can you do? We have to set rules. And I'm like, okay, if you're too dumb to have a conversation where you're polite, if you can't do it, if you don't have that in you, if you need like a list here, do you know what I mean? It's just, you can't. Yeah, they're going to continue to invent new words. I mean, they change definitions of words anyway. And so it's like, if you need a list of rules in order to have a good conversation, I'm just going to kick you. Yeah, define too dumb. Yeah, well, conversations don't have rules. They do on this channel. Sorry. Do you want, let me go look at your successful YouTube channel. Let me see how you do. Let me see. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let me see. I bet you did a great job. I bet you have a ton of, if people interrupt every premise, it's bad. Exactly. I'm not a YouTuber. I can tell. I can tell. Because in the real world, you opt in and opt out of conversations. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're just a bad conversationalist, everybody's just going to not want to converse with you. Yeah. I'll keep going. No, because look I give the women a chance. I tell them beforehand. What was my first message to her? I'll see what I said. I said, look, do you have a topic? Blah, blah, blah. You can come on the show and we can have a good faith conversation about 2 to 4 topics we disagree on. You can bring up videos we want to react to together if you have things you want to show to explain your point. The idea is to go in depth and think more through our opinions. This is not a debate. Yeah, so, and it's just, I wonder, because sometimes these women, it's like, I think they just want to argue. I think I'm gonna rant a little. They just want to argue because, this is a show. So that means you can turn it on or off. You can turn it on or turn it off. You can turn on the show or turn off the show. And so it's like, why are you here? If you're not here to have a good faith conversation, are you here to just, be a bitch? And the thing is, I'm an athlete. If this had to get physical, I could kick these women's ass. All of them. I really could. I am not a violent. I hate that it's like I have to develop being a bitch to deal with bitches. I hate that. Is this what you guys feel like dating women? It's like you have to develop these skills, because debate at its core, it's just manipulating people. Like it's just, trying to find ways to make the other look stupid instead of having a good faith conversation about what we believe. It's always how it goes. Being a housewife and not working is a privilege, not a chore. It's free rent, free food, not unpaid labor. Also, use your eyes. Women spend more. I know. And it's like, if people don't trust their eyes, then I think you're just you could just be easily manipulated, I couldn't fight my way out of a wet paper bag. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. You really would be surprised. In basketball, I got a few technicals. Look, not a lot gets to me, but when something gets to me, I had a girl, I'm not going to tell the story of who, but I had this woman punch me in the face once, and it was over the dumbest thing. I regret every day not hitting her back. I really regret it. But I had her in a headlock so fast that she was my height. I had her in like this headlock. She's like squirming, trying to go at me, and I'm like holding her down. And I'm like, well, this was a long time ago. I'm telling you guys, so yeah, this is an open invite, That's what I have a liberal guitar teacher. We just have the best conversations offline. Our liberal friend. We have the best, and I wanted him to actually start this debate because he's just or this series, because I really want to do this series. It's called Hear Me Out, where every week I go with a feminist and we have to hear each other out. Okay, hold on 1 second. Sorry, I got the best news ever. I got the best news on the planet. I don't know if I could tell you. I can't tell you guys, but oh my God, I'm so happy. Oh, this is the best news ever. Ever, ever, ever. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. All right, I gotta go because yeah, this is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry to you, Ash. I really wanted to have a good conversation. Try to be more likable next time. Try to be more pleasant and nice. And no, I can't tell you the news. If I told you the news, I can't tell you the news. I can't. I can't, but this is a great day. This is a great day, I'll tell you what. No, it's nothing to do with me, guys. You know, but so anyways, this is an open invite to the feminist women. I would love to have one of you that is pleasant. Please, God. And I've noticed this. There's a lot of liberal young women, but they're usually still pleasant. I see why you guys don't date these older broads. Because that's what you have to deal with. You're going to be in your house and she's going to be like, stat, stat, stat. You're going to be like, I think this. And she's going to be like, stat, stat, stat. I can't tell you the update, guys. $500 super chat, and I will. $500 super chat. It's $500. Keeping it real. Yeah, I won't do it, but for money, I will. $500 super chat. 500. Yeah, you want to know so bad, but when it's pay me. When it's pay me. When it's pay me for it, you don't want, they're like, I don't want to know. $500. Pearl's rant is arguments. Yeah, because you know what? It's like you just kind of want to be like, all right, you're right. Are you happy? Are you happy? Do you know what I mean? When you argue with these women, it's like you just want to be like, all right, you're right. You win. You win. $500 super chat. I'll give you guys 2 minutes. Oh, this is the best news ever. Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy. This is like, is everything good? Oh, I won't say his name, but no, everything's really good. And for $500, I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, another fake super chat. I have way too many divorced men watching me because you're all broke. The women they can't donate to the show. The women took their money. It's not me. It's not me. But or maybe it is and I'm lying. All right, well, I'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Again, I'm not launching an OnlyFans. You're crazy. Let me just go and ask my partner. She controls that. What if everybody chipped in $5? I mean, you can all put in like 50 or 100. Then enough people do that, Yeah, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, who cares? Do you know what I mean? It's just, anyways, guys. All right, if you want to support me, go to theaudacitynetwork.com. I need to be paid for having to deal with these women. I need to be paid. Please like the video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.